All right. A very simple video today. A tier list, bro. We're gonna rank a tier list. We're gonna be ranking based off excuses from all the way from all right, valid. That's a valid excuse. I'll accept it. All the way down to you don't want to go anywhere. You just make excuses, but really, to be honest, most of these excuses can be solved. You just don't want to go anywhere. That's just what this is. And then we have meh, which is like it can go back and forth. I mean, it's a pretty okay excuse. Fair enough. Pretty basic. Fair enough excuse. I get that. It can still be solved, but it's a pretty fair excuse. So it'll pass. And then pretty good excuse, pretty good excuse. And then we have you kind of want to go somewhere. I skipped this one. You kind of want to go somewhere, as in like your excuse is like it can be solved, and I think you still want to go somewhere, but this is just kind of a small obstacle that you can kind of have to like figure out how to get through, but it can be solved. So yeah, we're gonna get started right now. My job won't let me. So this one's pretty, for the most part, this is like more saying like, oh yeah, I don't have the time to go on a trip because I don't have my schedule's too booked at my work or something. So I can't I can't go on a weekend trip. I can't take a weekend off, or I can't take a week off and go where I want to go. So this one's like, I'm gonna put this as like meh. I'm gonna put this as meh. You kind of want to go somewhere, but you're letting a job stop you. I mean, it depends, right? There's certain jobs which, for the majority watching this, is probably not the case, right? So I'm not talking about the small, the small part, but majority of your jobs, it's mostly time, right? Your schedule. So I think you can definitely find a week, a week at one point. If you plan early, your job is definitely gonna give you like at least a week off to go on a vacation or something. Now there are some jobs, obviously, this is like, let's say you like you're in the military. I'm pretty sure you can't travel anywhere unless you get like permission. It's a whole process. So obviously there are certain jobs, obviously, that just won't allow it and you can't do much. But I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones, majority of you, who can definitely somehow take a week off. You can definitely request a week off and you do it way in advance, and your job's gonna let you. Okay, vast majority watching this, at least for me. But then again, mine's like, I'm working like my parents won't let me. Okay, this one's an interesting one. This one's a hard one. Okay, if you're like, okay, this is specifically catered to people 18 and older. All right, I'm not talking about if you're like 17 or younger, right? Because that's kind of, traveling at that age is hard because not many places let you go anywhere if you're too young, right? So that doesn't count. If you're 18 or older and your parents won't let you, this is kind of a hard one. This is a little bit of a hard one because you should listen to your parents, obviously. Even though you're a grown adult now, you're 18 years old, you're a grown adult now. So realistically, you don't have to. But in different situations, obviously, you kind of have no choice. They could kick you out. They can take your car if they give you a car, they provide you a car, they could take it, or your phone. So they still kind of have power over you. So this one's it's kind of hard, honestly, to rank this one. I think I want to say it can go fair enough. It's not going to go here. That's kind of unfair, but fair enough. I think under different, because of the circumstances, because I know other people, I know some who also pay their own bills, but they still listen to their parents, not because they have to, but because they're scared of them. So, and then there's others who, like, their parents have given them things and they have to listen to their parents because, if they take away their car, for example, how are they going to get to work, or how are they going to do their things, right? Or maybe their parents pay for their school, right? So it's a little hard to rank this one, but I think for the most part, I think here's fair enough. It can be solved, right? This can be solved, I think. For some, it can be solved, I feel like. It's a solvable problem. I feel like in certain, situations, it's going to require some sacrifice. But for the most part, I think this is a good rating. Next, we have getting robbed. Being afraid of getting robbed, all right? This is not a good excuse. I'm sorry. I don't care. Because you can get robbed anywhere. You can get robbed, you can die, anything can happen to you literally anywhere. Obviously, right? That can happen in your own home, okay? Now, obviously, if you go in certain spots, right? In any country, if you go in certain areas, you can get robbed because they know you're new. But that goes for any country, even wherever you're living right now. That goes same thing. It goes for that too. So getting robbed, I don't think it's a good excuse in my opinion. If you're afraid of getting robbed so bad that you just don't want to travel, I don't think that's a good excuse. You can do research and look up areas that that are low crime, or tourist areas, because in tourist areas you're not going to get robbed at. It's highly unlikely someone's going to try to rob you because there's people around. So obviously you don't want to go out at night either in certain areas either. Obviously, like, you want to be back within a good time. Yeah, I've been to different countries, and so far I haven't been robbed not once. I have also been out at night, kind of, but then again, I'm a guy, so we're gonna get into that later. But still, I haven't been robbed. All right, I haven't been robbed. Because I go in, I don't put myself in that situations. Right, I'm always I'm always with the public, so I don't try to go stray too far from public areas or try and go these alleyways. No, no, no. So there's ways around it, so you don't get freaking robbed. Because most burglars, I'm talking about, not burglars, but criminals, they're not gonna just rob you. Just they don't want witnesses, right? I mean, some of them just don't care, but for the most part, they want things to be discreet and they don't really want to hurt you, right? Most of them really they don't. So I'm gonna put it here. This is not a good excuse. I feel like it's not a good excuse. Next is negative. Okay, negative bank account. It's honestly, it's a good excuse. It's a mad excuse. It's a mad excuse. You can't travel without having money. Obviously, that's just not gonna happen. You can't do it without having money. It's just, yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's unrealistic. You can't. Yeah, you obviously need money. Now, if you have a negative bank account because you like spending or because you have bad habits, then that's just not a good excuse. It's not a good excuse. And you can always find a job. There's many ways to make money. If you actually go out there and look, there are ways to make money. So I believe this is a mad excuse. Only because you need money to travel, you still need money, right? No matter how cheap you go, you still need money, especially if you have a negative bank account. I should just put a low bank account. Yeah, like a low bank account, just a low bank. You got to save more first. So yeah, I would put that here. It's pretty valid to say. I don't think it's fair enough because you can solve this problem, right? I feel like this can be solved a little bit, but it can be argued. A lot of these can be argued about, by the way. So these are this is just the basis. So, if you have a low bank account or a negative bank account, you probably don't want to travel anywhere because, you obviously can't. So it's just just basic stuff. We're not going to go too in depth because that just makes things really confusing and it's not worth it. So, but yeah, it's going to go meh. It's going to go meh. This can be solved, but you still, yeah, it's going to go here. It's going to go here. Next is that's not really me. As in, I'm an introvert. I don't like traveling. I don't like doing things. I don't like, yeah. I think I'm going to say it's a bad excuse. Put it in the low tier bad excuse, only because I don't know, I was an introvert, but even I traveled, but that's just me. So everyone's different. But if you're an introvert and it's not really you, I think this is a pretty fair ranking because you just don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to go because you're an introvert and you just don't want to go. I don't know why I put Levi for the introvert, but I feel like if I were to ask him to go on vacation, bro, he'd be like, he'd just say no, bro. So yeah, and he looks freaking depressed all the time. So and he's an introvert. He's an introvert. I know he's definitely an introvert by canon. So yeah, he's gonna go here. This is pretty fair. Traveling's not really my thing, aka you don't want to go anywhere. So that's pretty fair. So that's fair. Next is my job pays too low. I work a low-end job. This is a really bad one. This is not a good one. This is not a good one. Terrible excuse. Terrible excuse. This is not a good excuse. Not a good excuse. I've seen comments on social media showing, these young travelers, right? And how they're able to do all these things. And then there's always haters and commenters saying, oh, daddy's money, mommy's money. But I don't believe that because I tried it myself, right? When I traveled, for example, while I was in the United States, I had to go to New York. I went to New York twice, actually. I had to save up for both of those trips, right? I saved up a lot more for the second trip than the first trip. The first trip, I was given a little bit of money for graduation and whatnot. But for the second trip, that was all my bank. I paid for the whole second trip and my flight and everything. I had to make a budget though. I had to make a huge budget, but I still was able to go on that flight and actually save. And then months later, I was able to make enough to even travel and live in a country for a month, right? I was able to do that for a little bit because I had to save and work. So, and mind you, I don't work a high-end job, right? No. So, because I just graduated. So you can still do it. I don't care. You just have to sacrifice, save, and just focus. That's it. Doesn't matter what job you work at. Sacrifice, save, and focus, and you can travel anywhere you want. I believe in that. I stand by that 100%. All right. Next one is I'm a woman. All right. This is going to go here. All right. Next. I don't have a passport. This one's not really, this one's not really, I don't know. I don't have a passport. You can get a passport. Now, it depends on what country you're in, right? So, it's I can't speak for everyone. So, I'm going to say, for the Americans watching this, which is most of you guys, obviously, getting a passport isn't really that difficult. If you're born in the country, if you're not, then it is a bit harder. I know that. But if you're born in the country, getting a passport is quite easy. It's honestly pretty simple to get a passport because you're already a citizen. Once you have proof of citizenship and whatnot, it's really easy to get one. It's really easy. So I'd put this I'm gonna put this here. Nah. I'm gonna put this, it's kind of, I'm gonna put it here. You kind of want to go somewhere. Actually, no, I'm putting it here. Not a good excuse. I don't think it's a good excuse. And obviously, again, this depends on where you're at. But for the most part, I don't think it's a good excuse because if you really want to go, it takes one Google search to look up how to get your passport. And yeah, I've seen people do it. People my age have done it. Pretty simple, and it's not that hard at all. It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy, especially if you're a citizen. So I would say this is not a good excuse. I just don't want to go anywhere. This is some of these are more like this. The parents, bro, this is way more. This is a lot more fair than, oh yeah, I don't have a passport. Like, just get a passport, bro. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Next is no thank you, aka I will travel later in life. Eh, I don't like this excuse because there's never you're never guaranteed a tomorrow. You could die. I could die right now as we're speaking and doing this video, making this video. I could die tomorrow. I could die literally anytime. There's no guarantee. A lot of people, and even me, think like, life every day is guaranteed. I feel like deep down, a lot of people think life is like, like every tomorrow is guaranteed. I feel like a lot of people think that, especially me. I know I do, because that's why I've been not taking any. I don't take lots of risks. I'm starting to now. I'm starting to take more and more and trying different things, but I'm still scared. I feel like, unless I was like literally told, like, oh yeah, you will die within 24 hours, unless I'm told that, I'm probably just gonna have confidence that I'm gonna live tomorrow and whatnot, and that nothing's gonna happen to me. And that's an issue, that's a big problem because, this ties into anything, at least anything I do as well. When I'm scared and I don't do it, and I don't take risks or try something because I'm scared, it holds me back. And it, takes away opportunity from a lot of things that could have changed my life. So I would say this is not a good excuse. Doing it later, I would say if you can, then I would say travel. I would say do it if you can. If you really want to go somewhere, I would say do it, man. I would say do it. I wouldn't wait another 10 years just to go travel when you can do it right now. Because you're gonna be busy and more. The more you try to figure out what your career is and what your goals and things are, the more you gotta work as well to pay bills at some point too. Or if you're paying bills now like me, then yeah. So and tomorrow is just not guaranteed as well. So the older you get, the more responsibilities you gotta have as well. It can be a struggle. While you're young, I say travel. I say travel now while you're young. That's in my opinion, though. That's in my opinion.